Oh man, it hasn't even been several hours, but it's fine. It's fine. So if I mean, I should mention what I'm about to say when we get to the timestamps anyway, but hey, doing a lot of projects still. And I'm sitting here looking at 3 separate documents, but I'll explain that later as we get into our run, which is going to be... well, it's going to be at the World of War character exclusive Toshiaki. We're still trying to do the blue gem. Yes, I really should be done by now, but no, I'm not. Charisma, knowledge, strength, Takushi-san, dexterity, and maybe a second mystery. If we were entering the lighthouse, we're not. And the only other thing I really should say first is that, yeah, if I go off topic during this video, 1, I hope that I can be at least focused enough and, you know, do the blue gem riddle. And 2, again, if I talk about things off topic, but are still related to me in general, project-wise, then yeah, it turns out my projects are a lot on my mind right now. That's why I'm recording this the time that I'm recording it, and hoping that things go well. But yes, nonetheless, I think a few breaks here and there, even if it's a smaller video. Although if I get Frostbite as Toshiaki and die, I'm going to do a second run. Even if I do a World of War video like this, I think it's good for me. I don't think it's really good to procrastinate, as said by someone who has procrastinated in the past. We have 4 not in town mysteries? I'm so sad. Well, I said I was going to reroll here, so this is the last day before I just do a custom character, so I'm going to hit reroll, just so we can get anything else. So, this looks a lot better. We'll take footage first, we'll do scissors next, and then I'll see what else I want to do. If there is a boss mystery that I forgot about because I wasn't actually looking too hard, then yeah, we'll save that for last, so we can do the blue gem riddle. Otherwise, I need to get this blue gem. It would kind of be important. And I wouldn't really need to do this if I weren't putting limitations on myself, which are what the main one being to do the blue gem riddle on the last mystery, but at the same time, I mean, knowing that I have more than enough RNG going on already, I don't know why I do this to myself. I kind of know why I'm doing this to myself. Actually, these limitations should be what I remove first, but I don't know, I just want to have fun, I guess. So, we finally got the blue gem. I still actually don't want to trade off or get funds for a curse, so we're not going to do that. But it's not like these things are going to give me any weapons immediately anyway. We can equip the book strap. And we have negative 8%. I mean, we can actually just monument really quickly. Well, I don't have any funds, so let's out of funds first. And then move on. Otherwise, yeah, not really much to talk about. What's happening on screen is happening on screen. I think I even... Wait, did I keep the police station? I did. Why am I doing this to myself? I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, yeah, still working on projects. I actually now have the idea to finally put forth... I put forward to myself to work on the third, because I think a long time ago I mentioned, as I roll an 11 on knowledge, is that I was working on 3 games at the same time. I don't know why I was doing that. I'm still not going to do that, but I think I have a good foundation for an actual third game, a longer third game. But immediate needs, let's just say, require me to work on something in the short term so that I can work on things in the long term. And hopefully within the next 2 to 3 years, things look up. But that's what a lot of people say, so I'm not going to jinx myself, I guess. Oh my goodness, was that an 85% miss, by the way? We'll just add in this kick just in case I do math wrong. My brain is not really scrambled. I should be in a better condition than this, but I guess I'm just not in the best condition. 6 luck, by the way. 6 plus 2 modifier. Nice. It's not, but what do you want from me, right? Actually, I have a bottle of milk sitting in the storage somewhere, and then we roll a 1 plus 2 modifier. But anywho, basically, one of the bottom lines of what I'm trying to say here is that doing things in the short term will help me out in the long term, as it turns out. In all walks of life, like just straight up. So there's no reason for me to have done this long. Although I could argue that I could argue kind of the same. I could have said the same thing years ago, but everything up to this point I think has been good for me on average. But my overall situation in real life is could be a lot better. It's due to myself. And I think that's true for a lot of other people as I roll an 11 plus 2 knowledge check modifier, where, you know, you know your own strengths and weaknesses, and you know every person on their own knows. Like, I don't know what you, the viewer, is thinking. The viewer, you know, can't know me completely unless I just try to say so. But even then, I think there are some human beings in the world that just, you know, don't have what am I trying to say? They have less of an ability to analyze their own shortcomings and strengths than someone on the outside. Not saying that I'm good at introspection or reflecting on myself, but yeah, I was gonna say something more, but I forgot to fill this empty bottle, and now I'm sad. But we're in scissors. We're on timeline A scissors, but I'll actually want to do this correctly. So star electricity, I think, and away we go. Again, this is all coming back to I should really, you know, work on projects that are going to grant some kind of return. Either minimum experience, but really either commercial value or, you know, put me on the map to have more people look. Because as it turns out, the more criticism that you have, the better your game may or may not be. But you do have to be able to analyze criticism by people who are either passionate about your game or know what should go into a game. Those are kind of the top 5 out of two of the top 5 kinds of people you want looking at your game, really. Among which is people who, you know, are willing to support you. But sometimes you want as many of these. You want a good subset of people who belong to those at least those 3 categories as possible. Among other things. Now, I'm just rolling highs and lows here, but you know what? So be it. We can actually put these box cutters away, and let's actually swap some things out, because, yeah, we need to throw something else. In fact, this empty bottle might do more for me, but we'll see. As long as I'm not finding the horror scissor lady. And I may have messed up. So, well, I guess in we go. We do have the power of a double bookstrap. The question is if I can do this, and I can. So still winning somewhat, but could have done a lot better because for some reason I didn't remember the sigils properly. But hey, we'll deal. Do we get to get out if I throw the box cutter? I think I do, right? This is 6 plus 6 plus box cutter does 1 damage. If I'm wrong, I'm gonna be very sad, but I can also work with the cursed scissors. But I think I still prefer the army knife, so we'll do that. We want Thought Flash, and if we don't get it, I'm going to be very sad. We'll reroll once and get nothing. So, yeah, away we go. Now, we do want Thought Flash at some point, so hopefully it comes eventually. Maybe, yeah, I think I actually want to do Sailors instead. Yeah, we'll do Sailors instead to get rid of items. I don't want to get rid of everything, but I also forgot to use the thingamajiggy again, didn't I? I did. We can toss the handcuffs. If we could run into a human enemy, I'd want to use them for, but there was something on my face. That's why I made that noise. But anywho, again, I'm still undecided on how I want to finish what I'm looking at, because if I didn't already say so early on in this video, I'm looking like I literally have my own notes for my projects in front of me, 3 in particular. One of them is more kind of a synopsis of the game. The second is kind of more a press kit of how, well, not really a press kit as the usual understanding of the term. For those who don't know, press kits are normally things that game developers make for the video game that are used, this is the layman's term by the way, that are used by, say, journalists and whatnot, but we can extend this to content creators as well. So say if you want to make a thumbnail for a video game, you use the press kit because that is material released by the developers of said game, or someone in charge, nice 12 roll by the way, that allows, you know, you can use for thumbnails and whatnot, and mainly, more specific in technical terms, to promote the game. But you understand the point. If you're writing an article and you're a journalist, or you're, you know, a YouTuber covering a game, you can use things from this press kit. Will contain assets like trailer, gameplay footage, maybe, usually images, logos of the game, on top of, you know, maybe sometimes text documents. A lot of press kits that I've seen instead opt to put the synopsis of the game, summary of the game, what genre, what it's releasing on, facts are part of the press kit too, who the developer is, where the game was made. That's just part of the, a website now instead of part of. But there's still more than a handful of video games in the press kits that contain PDFs, documents, text files that tell you all this stuff, what platforms the game's coming out on, when the game officially releases, and other facts. So a press kit is basically a journalist's way to actually, not be wrong, and is the official source of materials to use for thumbnails, footages, pictures that may be used with the advertisement or covering of a video game. Anywho. Not that I've really done that myself, to be fair, but, I mean, a lot of what I've released over the years have been prototypes mainly, so not really much else to say on that front. That it's just been prototypes. But most games that, have some commercial success, at least, do have press kits and whatnot. Like, even if it's an indie game dev, especially if you have a publisher, you're probably going to have a press kit of your game. Sometimes you don't. You don't always have to, but it's not a bad idea, especially if a game gets popular. So I'm shrugging in real life. And again, it's if you want to look for yourself, then the easy way is just to put in the name of a game that you're interested in looking for the press kit for, and then just put press kit, and you'll probably find it. Now, you do want to be, covering the game to some degree. I need the torch, by the way, because you are using the materials from the press kit to cover a game, and you can't use it for other purposes that the press kit was not made for. But anywho, small little details here and there. But as for me, I'm still kind of in the hey, I'm still making the game phase. So, and thank goodness it's not a huge game. I forgot to grab the empty bottle again, but so that I can get it done quicker. But I'm hoping I can get it done before Halloween, or at least the end of the month. And really a few days before the end of the month. Oh my goodness, I'm just gonna keep what I get, I guess. This is not a great way to continue on with this blue gem run, but I'll do my best. Tomorrow's definitely gonna be a custom character, if nothing else. Or tomorrow relative to when this video comes out. But I've tried my best. I guess we will Witch Tree for stamina. There's hallucinations, but we need the stamina for the moment. And we'll keep moving on. So yeah, again, my ETA, although I don't have anyone testing my game at the moment, and when I say testing, I really mean, debugging the game, because I'm still, when you make a game, or at least how I'm making a game, is that you usually want, oh my goodness, am I dead here, really? Why did I do that? I knew that was stamina, and I was doing that to myself. But let me close this out by saying, oh, never mind, I'm gonna do another run. Let me continue on by saying, yes, I forgot what I was saying. I was so flabbergasted by my own mistakes that, yes, at this point, let me reiterate here that I am the reason for my own failings here, or at least a big part. This is not even an attempt for me to be humble, it's literally just, hey, doing things. But that being said, not getting Fatat Flash was not great anyway. Even though I only really rerolled 3 times, I include the initial level up as a reroll, so if we count it like that, 3 rerolls. Painting, board, scissors, teacher, festival. Fine. Fine, game. I guess I'll do what you want me to do. I guess since we're doing the blue gem last, all things considered, we can do anything else. Actually, can't I do this? Can't we prepare from here? No, we can't, can we? I guess we're rerolled then. My goodness, I got... The main reason I'm doing this is I wanted at least 2 town mysteries, so I can take a town mystery first. Then, in the middle, it doesn't matter what there is, but the game didn't want to give me anything, so that's why we rerolled mysteries again. Otherwise, you'd be sitting here looking at another likely fail. In the right hands, it wouldn't be a fail, but in my hands, the odds of my survival go down. So, that is why we are doing another run. But me dying to that event to escort the question mark mysterious little girl home was of my own doing. So Not that I had a lot of HP left anyway, but I guess we'll grab the hospital pass first. We'll prepare twice again, but then we'll see what happens. Give me the army knife, please. Again, I mainly shift to army knife because Toshiaki has more perception than strength. That's why I don't normally go into the hardware store to grab a weapon. That's all I'm trying to say. And yes, I'm purposely leaving myself at 0 funds to proc out of funds on purpose. What was I doing again? Do we have Vigil? Well, we have Ward anyway, so we're gonna put the police patrols in the hospital. I keep almost clicking the dog shop because the police station, aside from the dog shop, the vending machine and the occult shop are always above, or the police station is always the sub-location on the bottom in those two configurations. But if you have dog shop is on the bottom, which is why I got sad. But anywho. We are in Bulletin, by the way, so let's avoid fighting this phone, bulletin, whatever you want to call it. Curse signs, don't really care. And away we go. But yeah, still in the process of making my projects. One of the two, I think I'm just going to start. I keep saying this, I want to start very small. Because there's really no, like, if I'm releasing it for free anyway, more as a personal project, though I will take donations because, you know, it doesn't hurt. Unless, you know, you have to deal with taxes and stuff, then it might hurt a little bit. But in general, just wanted to make a free game that I can play on this channel. That way, we're not exactly moving away from it, but as it turns out, hey, if you play your own game, turns out things, you know, it's likelier that you make a better game. Now, that's not to say, and when I say play your game, because obviously most people who, how do I want to say this? So that I can, what I'm thinking of makes sense to you, the viewer / listener. Most developers or people involved with the video game, like directly making it, have played the video game. But, actually, can I even say that in full comfort? I'm not sure anymore, but let's assume that's the case. What I'm trying to say is that, you know, actually playing your game, you know, making a stream and playing the game, because I'd put good money down that a bad games that have released, if you see the creators of those games playing those games in a less controlled environment, and by that I mean, because, you know, a lot of gameplay footage is, you know, prettied up for the audience. You do want to put your best foot forward when you're, you know, announcing a game or releasing it, but if you don't actually see a developer, you know, going through and playing their game, that's oftentimes more than not a red flag, and I think that's reasonable to say, right? Again, I didn't want to just turn World of Horror videos into just Ask Me Anything videos, but again, I'm not really much else is happening on stream. We're Toshiaki going through, and we're waiting for the last mystery to do the blue gem riddle. Like it, I do need to take out those handcuffs if I took them, but for the moment, we're okay. But yeah, that's why if I were to make one of the games I'm making, well, actually, every game I make, I'll play it myself, just to show you. And at that point, you might be wondering, well, Jordan, if you play your own game, why do I need to, you know, play your game and or buy your game if I ever made a game that is, you know, costs anything to buy and play? Because most of the time for me, when I make games, they're often not a linear story. So, if nothing else, I think every single game I've ever made has had not a matter of, I mean, multiple endings, but multiple ways to play the game and, you know, go in and get things done. So if, at minimum, basically, if I were to make a very linear experience, there would definitely be you would have a lot of branching paths in the middle. Though, that being said, I often don't like making games with just, like, one definite ending. That doesn't sit right with me. Not saying that it's a bad thing to do in general when you're making video games. Obviously, there is a point to... Hold on, let me just not die here. There is a point to making story-based games. And we know one of them. I'm just going to name drop it because I like the game too. Little Nightmares 2, Little Nightmares 3. So there is a point to those games. And in those games specifically, well, with Little Nightmares 3, now you are getting a... I don't have the handcuffs, really? Oh, I do. I did. I'm going crazy. Now you have co-op experiences, so again, there are games in which the journey can matter, or definitely has an impact. as much or if not more than the ending. And in fact, in a lot of good story-based games, in my opinion, you are dealing with a game that, you know, with that, if you did not go through the journey and you just watch the ending of a video game, it would not have the same impact than if you had actually played the game, if that makes any sense. I think it does. I think most human beings are able to understand the point I'm trying to make here. But for me personally, when I make a video game, usually it allows you to experience different endings of the game. Now, at minimum 3, but if and the other exception is if I make an early access or beta release of a game, it probably might only have one ending. Although in those cases, the game might not even be done. So there's a lot to think about. Basically, there's a lot to that. But in general, when I'm working on a game, I always start with like, okay, how do I want this game to end? I know I don't want to just stick with just the story-based experience. Not saying that I can't do that, but in my to my liking, I was about to say in my opinion, to my liking, I don't like doing so. Which will kind of clue you into what kind of game I'm making, but you know, especially for Halloween. Hey, as it also turns out, playing a lot of horror games that have been very popular, just overall, turns out it helps your ability to develop games as well. And if it doesn't, then me in particular, I've failed from this before. Really early on when I was getting into making games in the first place, is playing games to kind of analyze and think about things that I would want to do for my own game, or to help and not hinder my own video game. And that is really hard to do. In fact, I'm still having trouble with it because there are oftentimes I'll forget about something really simple. For example, one very specific example is, hey, make sure your characters, and this is writing advice too, make sure the characters that you care about are usually well-rounded. And in that, let's to devil's advocate just for a little bit. Yes, you can make a lot of flat characters and have them being your main characters, but I'm often a bigger supporter of the rule of learn and know the rules before you break them. So in this case, yes, the main characters that you actually care about probably should be more round. They shouldn't be caricatures. That's more for side characters and whatnot, if anything else, because from a kind of a practical standpoint, if you try to make a lot of characters and even extend that to the NPCs a bit rounder, and by that round and flat, for those who don't know these terms, oh my goodness, did I miss a 95%, really? I'm just gonna run then. Flat and round, so flat characters are basically, you know, characters that work off tropes, that work off stereotypes, or, you know, very, very familiar things that may be known, just either timeless tropes or kinds of traits that come with, like, the cowardly character always runs away, and they're always going to run away when presented with a bad situation. A courageous character is always going to try to step in and save people. Things like that. That's not really tropey, but that's kind of how a flat character works from my application of flat and round characters, whereas a round character usually is going to be a bit more nuanced. So a cowardly character, a character may be called a coward, and they'll run a lot of the time, but there are moments when they don't run that might be a bit more... What's the word I wanted to say here? I'm gonna reroll once here, by the way. Oh my goodness. Okay, fine. There's a bit more nuance to the character, and it's not... And if nothing else, the simple way to put it is that they're more like a human being than a fantasy character. For those who know the terms, Mary Stu and Gary Stews are often, some people try to say that they can be round characters, and they can. That's the beauty of creative writing, is to break those rules. But following the rules, Mary Sues and Gary Stews are often very flat characters, despite how much some people or writers want to push a character. It's like, oh no, my character is not a Mary Sue, and 2 is a round character. And it's like, well, the very definition of a flat character, like, is this character capable of doing everything? And this is something we also see in just isekais today. But yeah, it's applying that to video game knowledge is kind of... I even forgot where I started this conversation, but But if nothing else, when you're... Oh my goodness, I'm gonna die here. I'm gonna die here. Oh, what have I done to myself? No! Fine. I guess this will be a very long video then. Hey, you get a third run out of this. I don't feel comfortable with that, so... I could have avoided that. Why did I do my math wrong there? She healed HP, that's why. That's the mistake I made. Because I think that was a vampire enemy, and they have a chance at recovering health when they hit you. Just straight up, like that. There's nothing else to say on that point. And then she healed to 16 HP. I did 15 HP, and I did not do enough damage. So off we go. But yes, I will admit here that I made some mistakes. But hey, you're getting a longer video out of it. Whether it's quality time together with me, listening to me, watching me, then I don't know. Probably not. But let's at least learn from my lesson. So I think yeah, that's Flood and Scissors, right? Footage, Teacher, Kana. We'll take Kana. But we do need to do other stuff, so I guess we'll find out. I did the wrong thing. I didn't put Dog Shop. That's something I often mess up for some reason. Not just Dog Shop for Blue Gem, but just, oh, hey, I need to do a thing or a certain achievement. I did not set the sublocations correctly. I do have my projects in my mind still, but if what started off the conversation was me talking about flat and round characters and that, what I was trying to say is that I'm working with a very small cast of characters. I almost did not set Dog Shop again. And therefore, it would probably be a good idea for me to make them all round. Don't lose those notes, by the way. That's very nice. In fact, with this, we might even be able to do a Kick Toshiaki run. I think I'm going to run Kick Toshiaki. And let's see if we can do the Blue Gem. We're going to allow ourselves to reroll here. Hell, Metamorphosis, Recluse, Akamanto, Coma. Yeah, I mean, really any run is fine, but... I need a point of knowledge, actually. Actually, I do need a weapon for Recluse. Unless I take it way later, maybe, but... I guess we'll find out. So, I should have actually set the History Club. I don't know why I didn't do that, but... On an offhand note, if there's anything you want to learn in this video, History Club... If you work History Club and you get the curse, or you see the Cursed Doll, and you have Recluse in your run, just... take the Cursed Doll. It'll save you some HP. Usually, not always. Well, it's not a bad decision. That's what I'll say. But can we get the Blue Gem here, by the way? That would be very nice. Can we get the Blue Gem here, by the way? That would be very nice. There we go. And let's grab a weapon because we want a weapon. And with that, we spent a lot of funds. Again, the other part of this is that I usually end up using a lot of Doom. Oh, Yoichi would be nice, but we just want a weapon. We just want a weapon. I guess we'll take the Meat Cleaver. I don't want to spend too much Doom. And away we go with about -6 Doom, -9 if I do this, when I do this. We're also getting a lot of damage, but yeah, we spent 40% Doom for this, so... Shrug in real life. Okay, this time I really should concentrate on not dying. I forgot to use the police station still, but for the moment, we're okay. Household Hell. So Seaside and Downtown max threat level. We'll set the patrols downtown. And let's finally get this Blue Gem riddle done. Did I even run to one Blue Gem event just naturally? That would have been the actual challenge I set for myself, but this series has already gone for too long. I didn't doubt that I was going to take plus 100 episodes, but I didn't expect to fail this hard as well. And again, it is mostly my fault. I should be able to talk quite comfortably while giving you some at least quality gameplay, which is not what you're receiving here, but hey. Is this strength, by the way? I would like to use this. But for the sake of my Doom, no. Even though we are Toshiaki and we're effectively sitting on 4% Doom, but maybe this time we actually get Thought Flash. We've gone about 5 levels worth of rerolls and I've not seen Thought Flash once, which makes me very sad. But hey. Also, just on the offhand note, I do realize that one of the biggest parts of me on this channel is that I often tangent off to things, and since I want to usually add on another thought so that I can try to complete, all sides of a topic, I end up losing track and then I forget what I'm talking about. I was originally talking about, which is not something I think most people should usually do, but my mind runs and then it runs and then it runs off. So I'm just that does make me really sad. I mean, I could just watch through most of my videos. I do listen to them or skim them, so that I, that way I'm not releasing, a black screen on accident with just my audio. But that would be the nightmare. I think that would be the nightmare day. And those who've been with this channel to some extent have seen some of these mistakes just outright. So, yeah, don't let it be said that I have not had to re-upload videos. But anywho, yeah, so we don't get as much here, even with the book strap. I think we can brace, though. Is it worth bracing? I think it is. 3 damage for 1 reason damage. Or 3 damage for 1 reason. Did I say that? 3 damage for 1 reason or 6 damage for 3 reason. Yeah, that sounds better. Or bracing sounds better. I would like to throw something else as well, but we'll just eat the reason damage in the face here before we try to do the blue gem soon. Hopefully we do the blue gem soon. But for the moment, yeah, about 6-7 reason damage here. And my mind goes back to... My mind's going back to basically making assets for the Halloween game I'm making. Because as it turns out, even if you're using pre-made assets, whether it's through RPG Maker or otherwise that are able to be used in personal and or commercial projects, they usually will... Obviously, I say obviously, but really I should say usually you don't have everything you need for the game that you want to make. You can try, you can definitely do without, but if you really want to make a better game, in my opinion, 99 times out of 100, you want to add something that of your own creation, even if it is a modification of the assets you already have. And that's why it's important to make sure that you have the permission, whether written or otherwise, legally, to modify assets. That's all I have to say. Cure is nice, we'll take Cure, but we really want Thought Flash. Akamanto will help out here, but only so much. And that's all I have to say for myself at the moment. But yeah, thinking of, because, again, I think I explained how faces work. Nice 11-roll game, by the way. How the face portrait works. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You have 2 rows of 4 columns for faces that you can use. Really, that's just the base of it. And then, if you're working with sprites, I think it's 3 columns of 4 rows. Or you basically have a 3x4. And you are, you can do anything you want with them, but for the most part, usually if you're working with a character, you want them in a certain way. They're all on walk cycles of either facing forward toward the camera up to some extent, away, and to the left and to the right. So that's the bare bones of usually what you're looking at, but you can be creative with that as well. Like, you don't always have to make it what I just said, a sprite walking forward, backward, left or right. That's just how, it's all set up for you. So if you're working with the basic building blocks and you're given, RPG Maker in general, you get to work on that, and yeah, you have those sprites. But otherwise, it doesn't even have to be top-down, because the way that the sprites look on RPG Maker is usually from kind of a diagonal top-down angle. If you were actually top-down, you would just be seeing the top of the head. Which, like I said, is something you can do. You could work with top-down, but then you'd have to change every asset that you have if they do not already fit that standard. Which most of the time you don't, because you want to actually work with sprites that where you can see the full body. There is a very intentional design in how RPGs in general allow you to look at it. It doesn't feel like it, but when you think about it. The characters that you see in RPGs in general, not even just RPG Maker, you're actually looking at them diagonal top-down. That's why you can see their whole body. Because, as I just said, if you were actually working with a top-down... if you were actually looking at characters from top-down, you would just see the top of the other heads. Which is something you often see or something you have seen in a few notable RPGs where you're just working with stick figures, which is something I thought about once, but... Definitely, if I were ever to make a game with stick figures as my characters, I would still just use top-down, because you're drawing stick figures, so shouldn't be that hard to really... Well, it is hard still, but it's not as difficult as drawing anime characters or even realistic... what am I trying to say? I forgot the thing. It starts with the C. Particular something forms of characters. Where you want a lot more detail. And I guess if I want to prove my point, I could just make a quick game about stick figures in that sense. But, hey. And kind of be more transparent about that. I have actually started a game based on stick figure characters, but I figure if I really want to, you know, not that you can't do it, I would do it to prove a point, and I would love to prove the point. But for now, I'm kind of still taking a step back, and I'm gonna work with more assets that I do have like a bunch of assets that I've gathered over the years, you know, from legitimate sources like Komodo Plaza. I think that's the name of the English RPG Maker version. Nice 10 roll, by the way, game. You know, itch.io has assets for all kinds of game engines, so on and so forth. So I actually have, you know, slowly bought and accumulated a bunch of, you know, tile sets, character assets, portraits, so on and so forth. But it just so happens as I roll a 10 on luck here again, that's just not what I've been doing as much. I've not worked with those assets, even though I could. Did I not lose Bath, by the way? That's nice. We have about, yeah, we have 51% Doom to do the Black Gem. That's what we're looking at here. Photon's Flash would be helpful, but the game doesn't give me it, so I'll just cry. And we'll heal Reason here and move on. I think I do have Thingy-Majiggy, right? No, I don't. I don't have Fetid Fume, so I should just rest here for a moment. Just so I don't die. Period. But we'll see what happens. Also, we'll equip the Crestfallen Mask when need be. Otherwise, we should be going for this Blue Gem Riddle now, where we can police station the seaside to avoid extra Doom increases. Basically, you just got a lot of talk from me on this video about my game development. So, but if nothing else, I mean, I did try to add things in here and there, if for no one else than me, but really for people who are new to World of Horror. Again, the main reason why I picked, I almost said Takeshi-san, Toshiaki, is that he deals with Doom a lot better. Otherwise, with any other character, if I were doing the things I did to some extent, because obviously with Toshiaki, you want to take some measures here and there, but if I were Aiko or Ayaka, I mentioned those two because they're on my other, they're the other part of the top 3 characters in my opinion. My Doom would be a lot higher. In fact, I'd probably be, if not dead, plus 90%. But we have actually, this is a very good chance. We have a very good chance of finally doing the Blue Gem Riddle here. We just have to get taken away, and we shouldn't die to things. But I guess we'll find out, right? Yeah, I guess we'll find out. So, once we get this done, we should be home free, kind of. We will have one more run I want to do in the Harbinger Horror series, but that will be for that. I'm just gonna not spoil things in case you have not seen what happens when you 100% the game, even though you might have seen otherwise from this channel or elsewhere. Anywho, can we please? Can we please? I guess not, but for the moment, we're still okay. We're slowly dying, though. Should I just eat this 2 stamina damage in the face? I don't want to. So we're gonna gamble on that, and then, yeah, we should be able to just prep attack. Then the army knife would have been a lot better here, but didn't get it. Didn't get it. Campsite, this is Reason, right? No, we got the fun, so hey-oh. Photon's Flash would have saved me here, though. It definitely would have saved me. We're also taking penalty damage. Are we also taking... Is this max threat level? No. Not yet. It is the 4... Like, the blue gem is shaking in my inventory. Like, there's no... It has to be here. Anywho, so yeah, Strange Lights noticed finally, after 10 plus timelines of trying to do the blue gem riddle, notice strange patterns in which the blue gem vibrates. Entering this force has caused it to vibrate so violently that it can barely hold it. A peculiar giant disc or giant disc in the sky appears in the sky, and you know, the character feels lighter and lighter as their feet lift the ground. And yeah, later there's a spaceship. This is Xeno Shiba Captain Zeno. Oh, I clicked through it. Never mind. You can read that on your own. But yeah, kidnapped by aliens finally and unlocked the achievement. I forgot if it treats it as if you're dead or not, but the run definitely prematurely ends. And if I can speak correctly, not that. We get the Attack Dog Ally, which gives you 1 damage per attack, which is actually quite useful. But otherwise, hey, just to finally show it, we got all achievements, and we'll do one more run as the character we unlocked, Kana. And yeah, you've seen Kana. left and right in my videos. So without further ado, hey, I finally did it after 2 reruns in the same video. And I guess I'll just see you later when it happens. If you have anything to say, you know what to do. If you want to support me, you know what to do. I'll see you later. Thank you for watching. Bye!